Joe Rogan and Howie Mandel sit down and they begin to talk about AI. And more importantly, they talk about Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson sitting down together. And they talk about something. It's so important to really point this out, because a lot of people kind of glossed over this in the interview with Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk. But Joe Rogan kind of honed in on it. And then I'm also going to get into Joe Rogan's ever-present take of the inevitability of all of us inserting AI into our brain and operating as cyborg robots. And he says it in so many episodes. But let's just get right into the clip. This is Howie Mandel and Joe Rogan. Let's go.
Fear. Some people, like this guy who's advocating for a digital god, like they do know where it's going because they actually work in technology. It's not freaking them out.
But it's like Columbus, you know, like everybody thought the world was flat. He got a couple of people to get on a boat and we didn't know what that was going to mean.
See if we can find.
Just so you guys know, you're going to hear Howie Mandel say a bunch of very stupid things. He's really not the person to have this conversation with, in my opinion. You know, I don't know the man, but he doesn't seem like the guest to have this conversation with. But Joe Rogan has some pretty great points, and Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson are going to be in this clip as well. Let's keep going.
And where Elon talks about this part, because that was the most fascinating to me.
I mean, the reason OpenAI exists at all
so this is what he said earlier, but it's going to continue.
Larry Page and I used to be close friends, and I would stay at his house in Palo Alto, and I would talk to him.
You got to realize these are the people that are at the pinnacle of technology,
and they're having slumber parties.
Was that Larry
they're
was
very
not
aware.
taking AI safety seriously enough.
What did he say about it?
He really seemed to be one sort of digital superintelligence, basically digital God, if you will, as soon as possible.
He wanted that?
Yes. He's made many public statements over the years. That the whole goal of Google is what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence, or artificial superintelligence. You know, and I agree with him that there's great potential for good, but there's also potential for bad. And so if you've got some radical new technology, you want to try to take the set of actions that maximize the probability it will do good and minimize the probability it will do bad things.
Yes.
It can't just be hell for leather. Let's just go, you know, barreling forward and, you know, hope for the best. And then at one point, I said, well, what about, you know, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here. And
I go laugh.
And then he called me a speciest.
Did he use that term?
Yes. And there were witnesses. I wasn't the only one there when he called me a speciest. And so I was like, okay, that's it. Yes, I'm a speciest. Okay. You got me. What are you? Yeah, I'm fully a speciest.
See, as funny as that is, or as funny as Elon Musk feels that it is, as he's like laughing about that is like Joe Rogan said, these are the people who are at the pinnacle of this stuff. These are the people who are not just at the pinnacle, they're the ones saying the yes or no's to how far this goes. And then also, they're the ones who are going to benefit from this financially the most. They're the ones that are going to be able to replace their employees. They're the ones that are going to be, and by which they're going to be able to put people out of jobs. They're going to be the ones. I know this feels like it's a little bit out there. A lot of people think this is so far away, but they're going to be the ones that want to merge with this technology. And that's not going to be available to us. See, every single time, whether it's lawmakers or these tech billionaires, they always make this technology seem at the beginning like this is going to be good for all of us. What we're doing here is good for all of us. And we kind of consent to it because that's what we think is going to happen. We're all going to get to merge with this thing. We're all going to get to think like superhuman, godlike beings. But that's not what's going to happen. A few of us are going to get these implants, you know, I mean, in the public, and we're going to be a little, I'm just going to say it, we're going to be controlled by it. That's what's going to happen. The same way you ask ChatGPT to make a joke about Biden, and it says it can't do that, and then you say, make a joke about Trump, and then it can do that, that's going to be your operating system if you merge with this thing. You're going to get the light version of this. You're going to get the diet version of this. And the people above us are going to get the just unlimited version. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to keep playing the clip, but I have so much to say about this, because there should be the same way in politics. We should be able to just get together and say, this person's fired. We want them fired, and we're not asking you. We're saying that now, because this politician did X, Y, Z, we want them out of office. We want them out of their position, and they should just have to leave. Like the people, we should have the control. We should have the same control when it comes to this stuff. You're making a technology that is going to impact all of us negatively, and we want you to stop. And if you don't stop, you're taking a very dangerous stance against us. And that's not right. And thank God in America, First Amendment, Second Amendment, thank God, right? But I mean, all over the world, they don't have these same type of rights. That's why America is the greatest place in the world. I know there's a lot of problems with it. Greatest place in the world. Just because of that, the fact that we have the ability to take that stance if we see fit. It's just wild that somebody could be like, you're a speciest and I want to see this thing come to fruition. And all of us are just along for the ride. We have no say. It's ridiculous. We're the ones that use their companies. We're the ones that allow them to gather data. All the data that they're getting for these AI models and everything, it comes from us. When this thing's scouring the net, they're scouring everything that we do and we say, and somehow we're out of the equation in terms of decision making. It makes no sense. And the very bottom of everything that I'm saying is there's so many more of us than there are of them. It's just, I'll keep playing the clip. Sorry to interrupt. I'm very sorry, but
That's a funny
Busted.
line.
Busted.
So that was the last straw. At the time,
How wild is that?
It is wild.
But these are the people that are in control of this thing. And I think there's also this race that's going on. There's all these different companies around the world that are trying to develop artificial general intelligence first. Because I think having it first, if you have a digital god first, you have a massive advantage over everyone and everything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that tech companies have a lot of power now, imagine if tech companies unleash a digital god. I mean, they literally might be the very seeds that create a god.
I really believe that now the digital universe is probably the most sought after god. Most people probably spend more time advocating for whatever they're seeing online anywhere than they do for their church or their that I think that already exists. People like Elon see that, and there should be a race for it. I don't see it as, everything can have a really dark, bad side, and we can't control it. So I think even talking about it the way you're talking about it is scary, and I don't know that it's...
Can I scare you with this?
Let's scare me with this.
This was on 60 Minutes last night. They did a whole piece.
Oh, that's right. I saw this. One AI program spoke in a foreign language it was never trained to know. This mysterious behavior called emergent properties has been happening, where AI unexpectedly teaches itself a new skill.
Like a minute in, he says something that I think is pretty
This is bananas.
Go
This is on CBS.
Is called emergent properties. Some AI systems are teaching themselves skills that they weren't expected to have. How this happens is not well understood. For example, one Google AI program adapted on its own after it was prompted in the language of Bangladesh, which it was not trained to know.
We discovered that with very few amounts of prompting in Bengali, it can now translate all of Bengali. So now all of a sudden, we now have a research effort where we're now trying to get to 1,000 languages.
There is an aspect of this which we call, all of us in the field call it as a black box. You don't fully understand. And you can't quite tell why it said this or why it got wrong. We have some ideas, and our ability to understand this gets better over time. But that's where the state of the art is.
You don't fully understand how it works, and yet you've turned it loose on society?
Let me put it this way. I don't think we fully understand how a human mind works either.
Was it from
myself? How is that even an excuse? Like, how do you retort that way? You're just like, well, I don't think we know how a human mind works either. Well, it's like that didn't answer the question. You're letting this loose on society. Humans haven't been let loose on society. Society is made up of humans. And if you want to search more into the human mind, well, that's fine. You want to search more into improving the human mind, that's fine. But you're doing something else. Like, he just ignored the question completely. And somehow, I guess because it's 60 minutes and they're not really going to give the pushback that they should, but somehow he just got that answer out, and that's just all good. It's like, oh, well, we don't know how the human mind works either, so why can't I just do this? It's like, because this is so much more powerful. And on top of that, we have so much data on how the human mind works. And yes, we don't know how it works completely, but we do know a lot about how it works. Like, that's where neurosciences come in, like, constantly. Like, we know a lot. We know how to operate on brains. We don't know everything, but we know a lot. And this AI that they're doing, like what he was just talking about, they don't understand it pretty much at all. They're just like having a good time. And again, the reason that they're doing this is because they are the ones that are going to benefit from this the most. The guy who's working in a factory is not going to benefit from this. The guy working in a factory is going to be replaced by this. This is just, I'm so against them developing this into like what they're, because you know where it's going. It's going into what Elon Musk has planned in terms of implants into the brain. It's definitely going to go into some robotic form eventually. Eventually they're going to be like, oh, let's see if we can connect it to this and sit down and talk to it. That's exactly where it's going. If we don't think, like, I just did an episode on robot police. Like, we all see where this is going, but for some reason, none of us are allowed to, and when I say us, I mean the 99%, none of us are allowed to question it, and none of us have a say in whether it stops. It's crazy to me. I'll play the rest of the clip. It's pretty much over now, but yeah, let's get into it.
From that black box, we wondered that.
That was pretty good. Unless you want the rest of this is about what they're talking about earlier.
What else are they saying here?
That's like he wrote a poem, and they're asking why did it write that way.
Why does that scare you guys so much? Why does that?
Listen, it's alive. It's not whether or not it's scary. It's a kind of life form.
But here's the thing. I am really fearful of humanity. I'm really afraid of us.
Let's hope that's not afraid of us too and decides to get rid of us.
Well, or make us better, or you know,
sure.
And that's a 50-50. And I would like to, you know, I have enough negativity, and I'm not talking, it's not about me, but
I just want to say quickly, Howie Mandel is so bought and paid for. He's very left-leaning. He's very much in the Hollywood eye. You've seen him on different shows. So this is not a person that's going to give any pushback to what they're doing, because it goes along with the, I don't want to bring up any agenda, but the transhumanism agenda, it goes along with that, and he's not going to push back on it at all. Like, he's saying that he's more afraid of human beings than, and it, like, you know what it's nonsense. I'm sorry that I'm even playing Howie Mandel in this clip at all, because he's silly. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Going on in my mind where if I don't know, and I'm assuming that it is a higher power than me, not God, but It is a higher power than me, that maybe for whatever reason, let's trust that it is a benefit and not not something that's horrible.
Well, I certainly hope. I hope it's a benefit.
What you just played for me didn't scare me. It doesn't scare me. The fact that it is artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. What is intelligence? Just by virtue of what it is. So it's learning things that we can't explain. It's intelligence. That's what intelligence is.
I think we're using this word in a weird way, the word scared. Because I don't think that it's scared like I'm scared of wolves. It's not that kind of scared. It's scared like,
that will be totally.
I realize where this is going. And it might not even be.
But you didn't describe
lifetime.
A good place.
Well, it's not a good place for us, but maybe it's a good place for the universe. Maybe
Do you invest in
place
Bitcoin?
For life.
Do you invest in Bitcoin?
I've got some Bitcoin.
Okay. So
I think, but that's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about maybe this is what happens with intelligence everywhere. That maybe intelligence realizes there's limitations to biology, and biological evolution is very time consuming. It takes a long time, and to get adaptation, for things to change, it takes decades, it takes centuries, it takes thousands of years. But this could happen in weeks and hours and minutes, and especially if it knows how to make a better version.
And you don't think that's scary, what you just proclaimed?
You keep saying scary. I think
do.
It's just the thing that's happening. And I think
But you have children.
Yes, we will continue to exist. But I feel like this was inevitable. Just like there's inevitable things that happen in nature that we don't want to admit. You don't want to say they're scary. They're just inevitable.
Damn it. I don't think that it's inevitable. I think there is, again, obviously there's a group of people who want this. And if that's you, then, great, sign up, get the implants, do your thing. Like, I'm sure it'll be a fun ride. I'm sure at first it'll be a fun ride. But there are certain people, and I think of myself as this person as well, that don't want to sign up for all this, don't want the implants, would rather live in a ranch-like setting where I am growing food. And I know it sounds harder, but like, I would like that. I would like to be homeschooling my kids. I would like them to be free of all the things that kids have to, that babies have to go through when they're first born. I'd like them to just be, we'll just call it pure blood. I just, I like that type of living. I like the sound of it. Like, I know I do all this tech stuff right now, but if I had to let this go in order to live like that, because of, this inevitability, I would 100% do that. I like the way that I hear, my in-laws' grandparents lived. Like, I like it. I like the idea of just, living off the land. I love that idea, Obviously, you don't want to do it in a place that's winter. You want to be in a place that's going to be hot all the time so you can keep doing it and not have to suffer through that. But yeah, I think it's inevitable for certain people, but we don't have the conversation enough about the people who don't want to do any of this stuff. We just kind of act like it's just fine and everything should just be happening, or we act like everybody is just on board, and not everybody's on board. And I have to get to church, so I'm going to end this here. Thanks so much for listening. I'm out.